Hi, I'm John, and this is part 21 of my F1 23 career mode series. And in this part, we'll be racing on the Autodromo José Carlos Pace in Brazil. Okay, here we are in Interlagos in Brazil, and looks like it's gonna be dry conditions for the weekend, and yeah, I think that should suit us well. We brought some upgrades to the chassis, which on paper brings us to par with Alpine, so we are now even at the R&D performance comparison charts. But yeah, we'll see when we hit the track if our car fits this track or if their car fits this track better. Yeah, we'll find out on track. But yeah, the track itself here is of course legendary. It's a nice track, it has a nice flow to it. There are some slower sections, and then there's the long start-finish line. So yeah, can't wait to go racing. So let's jump into qualifying and see how we perform. Alright, let's go with balanced presets, and let's hit the track. Let's get a lap in. A bit too much on the curb there. All right. Let's see where that puts us. I'm a couple of hundredths ahead of Alex, so that's nice. I think we'll just do one last run here at the end. turn 1 was a bit slippery. Alright, not too bad.
With qualifying finished, it's time to remind ourselves once again of our top 3. Verstappen, Perez and Lando Norris. Goodbye for now then, but really we're just getting started. Make sure to join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
Alright, P9 in the end. 2/10 faster than my teammates, so yeah, I'll definitely take it. Starting in the points for the race, so let's see if we can stay in there and score some points out of this one. Looks like Alpine were really strong this session, which is bad for us because we are in the Constructors Championship fight with them, so yeah, looks like they are probably gonna score some more points than us, but yeah, let's see what happens in the race.
Welcome along then to where heroes and history are made. It's where the 2008 title was decided in the very final corner. And just 1 year later, Jenson Button stormed through from 14th on the grid to claim his one and only Drivers' Championship. It's time then for the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. Interlagos, always a very special race here in Brazil. It's a 2.7-mile circuit with 9 lefts and 6 rights for a total of 15 corners. The fastest lap today should have an average speed of around 135 miles per hour, if, of course, the weather stays dry until the end of the Grand Prix. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. Sergio Perez lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Ocon, Oscar Piastri, Gasly, Fernando Alonso, Leclerc, Mäkinen, Stroll, Sainz, Albon, Ricciardo, Tsunoda, Russell, Bottas, Joe, Magnussen, Hülkenberg and Lewis Hamilton rounds off the grid. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. And I'm joined once again by Anthony Davidson to bring you the lowdown for today's race. The last few races have been a bit rough for them, unable to get a clean run. That's got to have some effect on their confidence, surely.
Certainly confidence is an important factor. And every time you're involved in an incident, it's not just the car you damage, but that confidence as well. But all the top racing drivers are able to tune that out when the race gets underway and focus on the job at hand.
Alright, so 11 laps on the softs and 14 laps on the mediums. Alright, let's do it.
focus now for the rest of the race.
Yep.
This lap, you can use it when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Copy.
Flag.
Full race update.
You've
got 11th, that's 11th place. Sainz ahead, less than a second separates you. They're on old mediums. That's Alexander behind you. Okay, the gap is less than a second. They're on old mediums. Okay, gap to leader, 8.1 seconds. And that's 6 laps until your pit window's open. 21 laps to go.
Copy.
Be careful, we think you're going to start losing some tyre grip anytime now.
Yep. Just can't get close enough to make a move. The undercut might be a viable strategy here. Pit stop information.
You only have to stop once now, one stop left. Your pit window is going to open in 3 laps time. Pit window opens in 3 laps. The pit window and you're going to be on mediums.
Yep. race updates.
Okay, we're sat in P12 now. Less than a second separates you. They're on old mediums. That's Ricardo behind. Okay, the gap behind is 1.3 seconds. They're on old mediums. The distance to the leader is 13.1 seconds. Okay, your pit window opens next lap. Alright, 16 laps to go.
Box this lap.
Understood. Stopping this lap. Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now. Alexander's in the pits. Alexander in the pits.
Copy.
Gap ahead is 1.6 seconds. Yellow flag. Okay, clear.
debris at turn 1. Don't think it hit me. Probably from Stroll, just going slow. I locked up.
Come on, you can win that place back.
I locked up again.
To your teammate behind is 1.7 seconds.
Copy. full race update.
Okay, no issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them. And we're currently sat in 6th. Ocon is ahead of you. Okay, the gap is less than a second. Okay, they're on old hard tyres. Okay, Alexander is behind. And the gap behind us is 3.0 seconds. Okay, they're on old hard tyres. Okay, so gap to the leader is 13.6 seconds. Your pit window's now open. Pit window is open. Okay, 7 laps to go.
Please tell me we're gonna make it to the end on this tire.
But remember, we need to get to the end of the race on these tyres.
Yep.
Mate, that brings you up a place. Is 1.5 seconds.
Teammate status.
Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 3.8 seconds. Okay, they're on old hard tyres. They're 8th. And the time last lap was a 1.6.
full race update.
That's P5, you're in P5. Alonso's ahead of you. Okay, gap to the car ahead is 1.2 seconds. Ocon's behind you, we're leading the car behind by 1.5 seconds. Okay, they're on old hard tyres. Our gap to first place is 15.1 seconds. Your pit window is open, pit window currently open. Come on, just 3 laps to go, 3 laps.
Yep. Just cutting ahead of me, right in front of me, isn't leaving any space.
Right, we've got enough fuel for 3 more laps. And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
Yep, good race, good results.
That's a spectacular victory, and with it, the championship is secure. It's been a magnificent season, and they thoroughly deserve the cheers of the crowd here today. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sport that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win. Our championship leader is still sat at the top of the standings, but their rivals have made up some solid ground today. Some amazing talent out on the track today. But Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
Well, you can't fault anything that Sergio Perez did out on the track today. He drove flawlessly, making him an easy pick.
And it's another title in the bag for Red Bull after a long and hard-fought season. They've built an astonishing car this year, and the glory they'll be taking back to Milton Keynes is fully deserved. Well, what an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Alright, what a race, and yeah, P5 in the end, so a good amount of points. I'll definitely take that. And Alex at P8 also in the points. A good day for the team. We're still a couple of points behind Alpine in the Constructors' Championship, but we are chasing them down, and if we keep this up we are gonna get past them soon, but yeah, we'll see how the rest of the season goes. But yeah, this was an interesting weekend. The margins are pretty close, but I feel like some teams didn't perform out here, like Mercedes for example. Both of them qualified way outside the top 10, and George finished in 10th, so they only managed to get 1 point out of this race. And then others like Alpine qualified quite well, both of them in the top 6, and I think they screwed up their race strategy. They boxed on the same laps, so Gasly was dropped down to the last place, I think. But yeah, on our side I think we did everything well. I feel like I had good pace. I managed to do some good overtaking moves there. Made a few mistakes, some lockups when fighting with Fernando, but luckily we both got away with it without any damage. So yeah, all in all, happy with the weekend, and yeah, 2 more races to go in the season, so we'll keep up the fight with Alpine, and I guess in 2 races time we'll know which team got out on top. But yeah, thanks for watching, like the video if you liked it, and subscribe to stay tuned for more.